Imagine for a second that you could strip away your skin, your muscle, and your bone, leaving behind nothing but the 3 billion letters of code that make you who you are. You've been told this code is your blueprint, a pure record of human history passed down from parent to child in an unbroken chain. But if you look closer, at the dusty corners of your genome, you'll find something that shouldn't be there. There are segments of code that don't belong to us. They are ghost sequences, the genetic fingerprints of people who haven't walked the earth in 50,000 years. You are not the pure-blooded Homo sapiens you think you are. You are a biological patchwork, a mosaic of lost civilizations that we are only just beginning to name. When we look at the human family tree today, it looks like a single, lonely trunk reaching up into the present. We are the only ones left. But for most of our history, the world was a very different place. It was a crowded planet, shared by at least 8 or 9 different types of humans, all walking, hunting, and dreaming at the same time. We used to think these other groups simply faded away, unable to compete with our superior intellect. We thought we were the winners, and they were the losers of history. But the truth is much more intimate and much stranger. They didn't just disappear. They became part of us. Think about the last time you felt a sudden chill and your skin broke out in goosebumps, or the way your body reacts to a common cold. In those moments, you might be feeling the legacy of a Neanderthal. When our ancestors first stepped out of the warm forests of Africa and into the freezing tundras of Europe, they were completely unprepared for the environment. They were strangers in a lethal land. But the Neanderthals had been there for hundreds of thousands of years. They had already adapted to the cold, the low light, and the local diseases. Instead of waiting for tens of thousands of years for evolution to catch up, our ancestors found a shortcut. They bred with the Neanderthals. This wasn't just a casual encounter, it was a survival strategy. By bringing Neanderthal DNA into the human lineage, we borrowed their immune systems. If you have European or Asian ancestry, about 2% of your DNA is Neanderthal. That small percentage might be the reason you can survive a modern flu, or why your skin is better at producing vitamin D in weak sunlight. We didn't just replace them, we absorbed their strengths. But the Neanderthals are the ghosts we actually know. They left us bones and tools and cave paintings. The real mystery starts when we look toward the east. In 2010, scientists found a tiny fragment of a finger bone in a cave in Siberia. It was so small it could fit in the palm of a child's hand. They expected it to be Neanderthal, or perhaps a modern human. Instead, the DNA test revealed something that shook the world of science to its core. It belonged to a group that was neither. We named them the Denisovans. We have almost no fossils of them, just a few teeth and a scrap of bone. Yet their DNA is alive and well today. It is found in people across Southeast Asia and the Pacific. It's even the reason why Tibetans can breathe easily at high altitudes, where others would gasp for air. But here is where the story takes a turn into the truly eerie. When geneticists mapped the Denisovan genome, they found something even they couldn't explain. The Denisovans themselves had ghost DNA in their system. They had bred with a super-archaic species, a group so old and so mysterious that we have no name for them, and not a single bone to prove they existed. There is a signal in the human genome that points to a ghost of a ghost. We are carrying the memory of a creature that the fossil record has completely forgotten. This raises a question that feels like it belongs in a science fiction novel. If we can find the DNA of people we've never seen, how many other ghosts are hiding in the billions of letters of our code? In West Africa, recent studies have shown that up to 19% of the DNA in some populations comes from a ghost ancestor that split from our lineage before the Neanderthals even existed. We haven't found their skulls. We haven't found their campsites. We only know they existed because they left a hole in our genetic data that can only be filled by an unknown species. We often imagine evolution as a slow, peaceful transition, but the reality was likely much more chaotic. Imagine two different species of humans meeting in a forest 50,000 years ago. They looked different, they spoke different languages, and their cultures were worlds apart, yet they saw enough of themselves in the other to mate. These encounters happened over and over again, across every continent. Our ancestors were not isolated tribes. They were part of a vast, interconnected web of humanity. The pure Homo sapiens is a myth. We are the survivors of a grand merger. This biological inheritance isn't just a curiosity for historians. It has massive implications for how you live your life today. The ghosts in your blood are still active. Some researchers believe that Neanderthal DNA influences your sleep patterns and even your risk for certain types of depression. The Denisovan genes might dictate how your body processes fats. We are walking museums of ancient history, and every time we go to the doctor, we are dealing with the legacy of a prehistoric romance. Our health is a conversation between us and the species that died out millennia ago. But why are we the only ones left? If these other species were strong enough to survive for hundreds of thousands of years, and clever enough to contribute to our genome, why aren't they here to tell their own stories? Some suggest we outcompeted them, using our larger social groups and better weapons. Others suggest we were simply lucky, surviving a climate shift that wiped the others out. But there is a third, more poetic possibility. Maybe they didn't go extinct at all. Maybe the reason we can't find them is that we are looking in the wrong place. We shouldn't be looking at the ground. We should be looking in the mirror. The story of the ghost DNA changes the way we think about human identity. We often use our differences to divide ourselves into races and nationalities. But when you look at the deep history of our species, those divisions seem incredibly small. Every single person on this planet is a survivor. We are the result of thousands of generations of people, different kinds of people, who fought, loved, and persisted through ice ages and volcanic eruptions. We carry their courage and their adaptations in every cell of our bodies. Imagine a world where we didn't just find their DNA, but we could actually see them. What would it be like to sit across from a Neanderthal and realize they had the same capacity for grief as you? Or to look at a Denisovan and realize they saw the stars with the same sense of wonder? We tend to think of ourselves as the peak of evolution, the final version of the human project. But the presence of these ghosts suggests that human has always been a fluid, changing concept. We are just the current version of an ongoing story. As we continue to sequence more genomes from around the world, the number of ghosts is only going to grow. We are finding signals of unknown species in the jungles of South America and the islands of Indonesia. The human story is becoming more crowded, more complex, and more beautiful. We are uncovering a past where the lines between us and them were blurred to the point of disappearing. This is the simple story of our complex origins. We were never alone, and because of the DNA they left behind, we never will be. You aren't just a single person living in the 21st century. You are a bridge. You are the point where the Neanderthal, the Denisovan, and the unnamed ghosts of the African savanna meet the future. Your DNA is a love letter from a dozen different species, written over millions of years, just so you could be here today. The next time you look at your reflection, don't just see yourself. Look for the ghosts. They are there, hidden in the shape of your nose, the color of your hair, and the way your heart beats. They aren't gone. They are you. And in the end, perhaps that was their plan all along, to live on through us, one simple story at a time.